RTO here. Welcome to a sunny day in Northampton. Blue sky. We don't get much sun around here, but we have today. Anyway, it is part 3 of the Neil Young story, and we're going to look today at his albums from the 1970s. And during the 1970s, apart from making albums for Crazy Horse, he managed to make 6 solo albums. Some I like, some I'm not so keen on. So we'll crack on. So coming in at number 6 is the 9th album, and it came out in 1978, and it's called Comes a Time. On here we have got Neil Young on guitar, Frank San Pedro on guitar, Billy Talbot on bass. Sounds like a bit like Crazy Horse, doesn't it? And guess who's on drums? Yes, Ralph Molina. He's got other people on here. He's got Nicolette Larson doing harmony vocals on tracks 3 and 4. We've got Ben Keith on steel guitar. Tim Drummond does a bit of bass kit. Carl Himmel does some drums. Spooner Oldham on the piano. Rufus Thirabadu on fiddle. Joe Osborne does some bass. Larry London does some drums. J.J. Cale, who seems to play steel guitar on everybody's album, and Farrell Morris percussion, and Rita Faye the auto harp. So the first track is called Going Back. Nice song. It's a nice vocal from Neil. It's pretty twee, but it's pretty good to listen to. Comes a Time, great vocal from Neil, but I'm not keen on this style of country music. I like a bit of country, but not this sort. It's a bit about a man dying and his dog, and yeah, it's that sort of country. I'm not into that. My favourite track on here is a little number called Look Out For My Love. It's a good little sort of country rock song, some great guitar work. I like that one. Peace of Mind. It's okay, it's a great vocal, but not my style. Lot of Love, it's a good vocal from Neil. It's a nice composition as well. Human Highway, it's not too bad. Obviously it's very country, but it's not that I don't dislike that one. Already Won, oh dear, this is the slow, dreary, this is the country I do not like. Field of Opportunity, I like this. It's got a little bit more zing to it. Michael's Motorcycle Mama, good little rocker, my second favourite on here. I like the little bit of violin on this. For Strong Winds, not my thing either. Okay, it's a great performance by Neil, but I just don't like some of that real old-fashioned country. I like my country to have a little bit of zing in it, and there's a little bit on here that isn't. But I'm going to still give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 5 is Neil's 6th album, recorded in 73, and it's called Tonight's the Night. So you've got Neil Young on here on pedal steel guitar and vocals on Tonight's the Night, Ben Keith. Neil Sloth during on piano. Danny Whitten, ex Crazy Horse, on vocal and electric guitars. Jack Mitchell again from Crazy Horse. Billy Talbot from Crazy Horse. Tim Drummond on bass. Ralph Molina on the drums. Also, Kenny Buttery does some drums, and George Whitzel does the vocal on New Mama. Tonight's the Night, not a bad track. It's Ralph's drumming as ever that really good, and it's got a little bit of vocal as well from Ralph. Speaking Out, one of my favourite tracks on here. Great vocal. It's got a real nice bluesy thing to it. Really good. Then we have World on a String, my favourite track on here. It's a great rocky bluesy number. Borrowed Time comes next. Great piano on this. super vocals as well. Come On Baby, Let's Go Downtown, another really strong track. Some excellent guitar work on that one as well. Mellow My Mind, it's okay, it's not one of my favourites. Roll Another Number for the Road. I've never been a great lover of this track either, it's a little bit whiny. Albuquerque, do like that, I like the bit in the middle. New Mama, another of my favourites. Second favourite. Lovely harmony vocals on this, pretty strong. Look Out Joe, there's a bit more grunt in this, some nice guitar work on that one. Tired Eyes, I'm not a great fan of that. Tonight's the Night Part 2. Now it's one of them songs that I actually like both parts. It would have been nice to have them put together. I find this album a bit of a mixed bag. There's some great singing on it, there's a little bit of whiny on it as well. I don't know why, is it just me? But I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay, coming in at number 4 from 1977, we have American Stars and Bars. Got Neil Young on guitars and vocals, Frank San Pedro on guitar, Billy Talbot on bass, Ralph Molina on drums. I don't know why they just didn't do them as Crazy Horse albums, but there you go. Ben Keithers pedal steel guitar. We've got Carol Mado on violin, backing up singing vocals on here, Linda Ronstadt and Nick Larson. That Old Country Waltz. This is a country song, but I do like it because it's got a great vocal from Neil. It's not. I think I like this because it's got a little bit more substance to it. Saddle Up the Palomino, good little rocker, country rocker. This is. I like the guitar work on this. Backing vocals are on it are fantastic, and the guitar work is as well. Hey Babe, quite good beat to it. Like that one. Hold Back the Tears, solid track. I do like Neil's vocal on this. My favourite track on this one is called Bite the Bullet. It's just a nice little rock sort of country sound. Like that a lot. Star of Bethlehem, simple acoustic and harmonica, great track. Will to Love, it's a bit too long. I think this is more of a 4.5 minute song. It just goes on a little bit too long. Like a Hurricane, I like the solo on this. It's really good because it's got that bit in the middle. It's a long track, it's an 8 minute, it flows better, and that solo does break it up. And the last track is called Homegrown, one of the great tracks on the album. Got some great guitar work on there. I think this is a decent album. I think it's got some great songs on it. But it's basically a Crazy Horse album, isn't it really? There's still great musicians, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay then, coming in at number 3, it was his 5th album, came out in 1974, and it's On the Beach. So you've got Neil Young, Ben Keith is on here, doing slide guitar. Rusty Kershaw's on slide guitar on this one. David Crosby, his old mate, is on rhythm guitar. George Whitshall's on here. Graham Nash is on here with Wurlitz's piano. Tim Drummond on the bass. Billy Talbot on bass. Rick Danko on bass as well. Ralph Molina doing some drumming. Sam as Levin Helm. So the first track is Walk On. Like this track, I love the vocal on this. Great drumming from Ralph Molina as ever. See the Sky, About to Rain. Still guitars, wonderful, I like that. Revolution Blues, I love this track. It's got some great guitar work. The rhythm's done by Mr. Crosby. It's my second favourite track on the album. For the Turnstiles, it's got a bit of banjo, it's bluesy, it's an absolutely killer track. Vampire Blues, David Crosby plays on here as well. Really good, excellent track, one of my favourites. My favourite track though is the title track, On the Beach. I love this track. Got a great guitar solo on it. It's one of his best tracks from the 70s. Motion Pictures. Lovely bass line on this with a great bit of harmonica. Terrific track. Ambulance Blues. Another of my favourite tracks on here. I just love the acoustic guitar and the harmonica. Very simple but very good. And that was the last track. Another great album, not a bad track on this one. Another solid album from Neil Young. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. Coming in number 2 then, released in 1970, we have After the Gold Rush. Neil Young, Danny Whitten, guitar and vocals, Neil Slaughter on guitars, Jack Snitchell on bass, Billy Talbot on the... No, Jack plays the piano, Billy plays the bass along with Red Reeves, Ralph Molina on drums, Stephen Stills does some vocals, and Bill Peterson does the flugelhorn. Tell Me Why is the first track. It's a very simple track, simple acoustic guitar, great vocal from Neil. After the Gold Rush, one of my favourite tracks by Neil Young. It's that. What adds to this is that lovely piece of flugelhorn by Bill Peterson. Sorry, brilliant track. Only Your Love Can Break Your Heart. I just love these simple songs. They are the best. Simple arrangements. And Neil singing great on that. Southern Man, my second favourite track on here. The harmonics on this are brilliant. Wonderful. Till the Morning Comes. Very short track, but it's got the flugelhorn on it again, which always adds to a little bit of atmosphere to it. Oh Lonesome Me. Very simple track again. There's so many simple songs on here. Another good vocal. Don't Let It Bring You Down. The drumming from Ralph on here is super. Such a damn good sound. Birds. Just a really nice song. These are just simple, folky sort of songs. When you dance, I can really love. The single on this all round is brilliant. I Believe in You. It's not my favourite track on the album, but I don't dislike it. Then we have A Cripple Creek Ferry. Simple arrangements, nice piano and guitar, a lovely solid drum beat from Ralph. An album which was so simple, compositions on here, nothing intricate, just keep it basic. It's a great album, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.8. But of course, my number one album from the 70s from Neil Young, it's probably my favourite album by Neil Young. Fourth studio album from 72, and of course it is Harvest. It featured the London Symphony Orchestra on 2 tracks, vocals by guest David Crosby, Graham Nash, Linda Ronstadt, Stephen Stills and James Taylor. So Neil Young is on vocals and guitars and piano, Teddy Irwin second acoustic guitar, John Harris piano, James McMahon piano, James Taylor banjo guitar and backing vocals, Linda Ronstadt on the backing vocals, and David Crosby backing vocals, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash and the LSO. Then we have Ben Keith on pedals, steel guitar, Jack Snitchell's on the piano as well, Tim Drummond on bass and Kenny Buttery does some drums. Out on the Weekends, the first track. 2 notable things on this track: the great bass line and the harmonica just lifts this track. The title track, Harvest, bit countrified, relaxing. It's such a great song, great vocal. A Man That Needs a Maid. I love Neil's vocal on this. It's just great, and it's that super gentle piano. Heart of Gold, my favourite track on here. Probably one of my favourite tracks. It's just got a great bass and that lovely harmonica. Neil Young is great, and you've got Linda Ronstadt on here and James Taylor. It's a super track. Are You Ready for the Country? I like this. It's a little bit boogie woogie, and you've got, it's very great. It's Nash, Crosby, Stills, and everyone. It's got sort of feel to it. Brilliant track to end side one. Side two starts off with Old Man, another fine performance. It's Neil doing the singing with backing up from Linda and James. One of my favourite tracks. Then we have There's the World. It's country with a bit of orchestral on it. It really, really works. Alabama, great track. Backing vocals by Dave Crosby. Absolutely top draw stuff this is. The Needle and the Damage Done. Recorded in concert in 1971. I just love this acoustic guitar Neil does. Just very much Bruce Springsteen style. You can see, I think, where Bruce gets his influences from on this. It's a wonderful track. Then we have Words Between the Eights. The last track on the album is that cross between country and blues with a little bit of jazzy bit in there. It's one of the great tracks and a wonderful backing vocal from Graham Nash. I think this is one of the great albums of the 70s. Yeah, it's got some great people on this album. I think this is Neil at his best. I love this. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So there we go. The 1970s probably his best time. Next week we'll be doing the 80s, which to me is the very lean times. Okay, coming up next is a perfect side, and I know Simon will be happy about this one because we're going to look at the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. So join for that. Bye for now.